RWBY Volume 1, Episode 3, The Shining Beacon, Part 2. Not a very creative name title. And we get a lot of that in Season 1. A lot of Part 2s.
Sure.
I think we even get a Jaundice Part 4, if I recall. Well, I don't quite remember. Yeah, this episode starts pretty quickly where we're immediately having RWBY and John enter the main hall for the academy where there's a bunch of other students / silhouettes. And Yang is among them, the only non-silhouette character there. And then RWBY leaves Jean to go with her sister. And Jean has that one great little line.
Where am I supposed to find another nice, quirky girl to talk to?
And that's when we get unofficially introduced to Pyrrha.
Yep.
Her very first introduction is just so pure.
Checking out Jean.
Not necessarily even checking him out, just being like, I just want to talk to someone. Hello. It's kind of like RWBY. Like, it's funny that, Weiss is like, oh my god, you're so popular, you're so amazing, yet no one's talking to her.
I mean, in their defense, they don't have mouths because they're silhouettes.
I mean, sure.
Pyrrha does also talk about that, how a lot of people get intimidated by her status. Because she is an elite warrior, and she's pretty much shown up as she's the ideal hero of the world.
That's fair. But this is where, we see RWBY kind of officially interact with Yang in the school setting, kind of explaining, like, hey, this girl was a bitch, we blew up, but Yang is taking it as like, what's it called?
Oh, you.
Why'd you have a tantrum? I'll grow up, kind of all that whole thing. She's like, no, shit blew up. And that's where I think Yang, and once Weiss comes over, of course, Yang goes, oh, well, you actually did.
And then I exploded, and then she yelled again, and I felt really, really bad, and I just wanted her to stop yelling at me. You! Oh god, it's happening again!
You're lucky we weren't blown off the side of the cliff.
Oh my god, you really exploded.
You get that little banter between Weiss, Yang, and RWBY. Weiss brings up the whole dust pamphlet. Pretty much dust for dummies.
Wonder if she ever read that.
Apparently, there's dialogue on the back to actually be read.
I was just looking at that, yeah. Hey, how's it going? So you're interested in dust. That's cool. I'm noticing that you're not very smart, though. Some might say you're a dummy. Probably think you can't use dust. Well, you probably shouldn't. But you're going to anyways. So if you're going to, you should at least read this pamphlet. That way, you won't kill anyone. Probably won't.
Real cheeky. Real quick comedy that I'm sure was just thrown in there for a fun little tidbit for people who like to pause.
But it's pretty much the idiot's guide to dust. Pretty much saying that you cannot sue us.
Yeah.
Don't take daddy's money.
And pretty quickly we lead into Ozpin giving a speech. And he has a couple of points in the speech. I'm going to read part of it.
You have traveled here today in search of knowledge. But I look amongst you, and all I see is wasted energy, in need of purpose, direction. You assume knowledge will free you of this, but your time at this school will prove that knowledge can only carry you so far. It is up to you to take the first step.
I'm wondering if this is a reference to the knowledge lamp at all, but that one's probably me looking too much into it.
I think that one's just more education based, that you came to a school, you're trying to learn. I don't think he wants to reveal that the knowledge lamp or even allude to it.
I think it could be, the only reason I was thinking is it might be him like constantly thinking about the questions he's asked Jin, and the whole, how do I stop Salem? You can't.
Alright.
And that just being kind of like a haunting fact of like, you think that knowledge will free you from this burden, but it won't carry you that far. Knowledge isn't the great blessing that we like to make it out all the time, you fucking kids are.
Yeah, but when he's giving this speech too, like, I know this is kind of this is our second time seeing Ozpin. It's not the Ozpin character. Like, he's very glazed over, not paying attention. He has to give a speech because he's the headmaster, but other than that, doesn't seem to really care.
So then that question is, so who's reading the speech? Is this Ozpin or Ozma?
See, I take it as probably Ozpin, who's like, fuck this. Like, I could be doing so much more.
It's hard to be doing too much more than leading an academy, one of the 4
Yeah, but,
academies
like,
to save the world.
For all we know, that guy was gonna go live on a beach. Like,
That's true. Oscar just wanted to own a farm. Well, he just wanted to run his farm with his ma and his family. Now he's got to save the world.
without a choice.
Well, he had a choice. He still does.
Oscar's probably the character that gets screwed over the most for just no reason. Just has
You think
bad
so?
luck happen to him.
He's not even in this episode.
No, not at all. But I'm saying, like, in the show, he's probably the character that just has a blind bad luck happen to him for no reason. And he's one of the characters his life is completely uprooted for it. Like Pyrrha, we know that her path leads her to death, but she chose the path of the warrior. Oscar chose the path of the farmer, and now he's on the path of the warrior.
True. He didn't really have a choice. I mean, he had a choice. Could have been an asshole to Ozma. But I think Ozma would have made his life hell.
And the question is, like, Ozma talks about it in the future, or in Volume 6, about how, I spent some lives drinking it away. I wonder how much was between Ozma and the other body? Was the person like, no, we have a life to live here. I don't want to be drunk all the time. Or were they like, fuck yeah, let's just... How much was he actually taking control?
How much? Well, I think it more depends on the strength of the person. How much can Ozma override them? How manipulative can he be?
Maybe it's just like a battle of wills.
Will saves.
Which we do see a little bit of that with when Oscar is taking over Ozpin, or taking over Ozma, and being like, the lamp, its name is Jin. Ozma's trying to keep it from you. It's going to be hard keeping referring to him as Ozma, because he is separate from Ozpin, but he's always referred to as Ozpin.
That's just because that's what everyone knows him as.
Yeah.
But
they call him Oz in that old flashback.
But in the end, it kind of goes to almost back to the conversation we were having in the last episode about the book that Blake is reading. And I know that's a little bit further down the road, but in this episode, but kind of not really. This is a pretty quick episode as well.
Yeah. Wait, let's cover the middle ground and then we'll get to that. And just cover anything else we have to say on it. So after he gives that little speech, Yang says that Ozpin seemed off, and RWBY says that's like he wasn't even there. Which is kind of more of he seems kind of empty. Is this just a man living a hopeless existence?
I think Ozpin's just ready to die. I think he's just done. And I think Ozma is just like, nope, we gotta keep going. Gotta do this, gotta do that. This is important. But I mean, I just don't think...
Save the world.
I just don't think Ozpin cares. Like, it's at this point, he's like, nothing's even happened. We're fine.
But then we move on from that scene. We go to a whole little pajama first night at the academy. Everyone's sleeping in the main hall kind of a room. Maybe it's not the main hall, some side hall. And Ruby's writing to her team and friends back at Signal Academy. More friends that I don't think actually will ever exist.
You don't think so?
No.
I think they're going to come back and save the day.
We're here for your eyes. You want to see what?
I want to see them become like Salem's warriors and she has to kill her friends.
That could be. That would go very well with the joke I made.
Yeah.
Because I think that Salem's the reason why Silver-Eyed Warriors got hunted.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Because they can counter Grimm?
Not only can they counter Grimm, they can counter Maidens.
Oh, yeah.
Which that's a conversation that we can save for when it's time. We're not gonna absolutely go into that now.
I mean, it's more appropriate to save it.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, you're right. It's a long way to go for that one, then. See you in over a year to finish that thought.
Holy smokes.
You think it'll be over a year?
20 episodes this season, 16 next season, 12 episodes after that. That's 36, 48. That's pretty much a year.
Wow. Wow. See you in about a year.
And that'll be that thought. All right, so we'll get back to that later. Then we have Blake and Yang introducing themselves to each other, and that's when we see that they are total opposites. The Bumblebee ship had not sailed in my mind yet. That happened in season 2.
Yeah, you definitely realize that Yang could care less about anything except for fighting. Like, she's
And
very
boys.
much like... That's true. She's horny as hell.
Mm-hmm.
But... And Blake is very much
pajamas.
I love his pajamas.
I'm sitting here trying to identify. I've been trying to identify for like the past 10 minutes these three non-silhouette characters who are in the pajamas.
In the background.
Well, aren't
Yeah.
they... one of them's that guy from the other team. Pretty sure.
Aren't they all like the exact same body? Just different hair color?
Pretty close.
I think they're just reskinned versions of Cardin.
Cardin, that's the name I'm thinking of. Yeah. I think they were just supposed to be there as, like, jocks. Like, hey, we've got abs.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. Yang pretty much writes Blake off as a lost cause, and then Ruby shows her power of friendship. Starts talking about the book. Oh, what you reading?
What's it about?
Huh?
Your book. Does it have a name?
Well, it's about a man with two souls, each fighting for control over his body.
Oh yeah, that's real lovely.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Ospin and Oscar.
Nothing unusual.
I would even say Ozma and Ozpin.
Yeah, that's what I meant. When I said Ospin and Oscar, I technically mean Ozma and Oscar.
At this point.
Sure. I don't know. I think Monty was a great writer. And
In
I
terms of
think...
creativity, absolutely.
Yeah, well, yeah. But there's a reason he brought in other people to help write the dialogue. But, like, the book itself, I think, is one of the more important things. That's just so overlooked by people when they first come into it.
I thought nothing of it initially.
Yeah, when we did Hot or Swap, which those episodes are still out on YouTube, let us know if you like them. They're dead to us, but you let us know.
If you watched the Pokemon one that got a copyright strike even after it was re-uploaded with absolutely no Pokemon content.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Remember that? They issued a copyright strike months after it had been released. And then there's no content in this. I specifically put at the start of the video, me talking to the camera by myself saying, fuck these people, fuck Niantic for doing this. I had to cut everything out. So I want you to know that that's why. That's why this is a re-upload.
Forgot about that.
I got the copyright strike removed. Because YouTube, you know, after that, after they initiated the strike, then YouTube looks at it to verify. And it's like, oh, hey, turns out, yeah, didn't use any of their fucking content. Bitches.
Fuck Pokemon or whatever that company is.
Don't make Pokemon videos on YouTube, that's what I've learned. Though with YouTube's new copyright rules, they might be better about that. Anywho.
Everyone we know of that's been possessed by Oz is also named Oz.
Those characters are the only ones that don't follow the color name rule in all of RWBY.
Do you think that's important?
Yeah. I don't think it's like going to be important for the future story, but it was very important initially. Because when Monty first released the create your own character color name rule, he specifically, like, people were like, all right, well, what about Ozpin? He was like, Ozpin's an exception. for reasons.
And like Adam, unless there's something I'm missing there.
No. Adam's name comes from a meaning. In Hebrew, Adam means man, and Adam means red.
So, in Hebrew, it means red.
Pretty much.
Well, yeah, so his name's not Adam, it's Adam.
Well, they say Adam to make it simpler.
Nope. Doesn't count.
GG.
But every name in RWBY follows that rule. I do my best to have the same thing happen in the D&D.
Except for one.
Except for one, yeah.
Who?
Osmond.
Oh, right.
GG.
I was like, who the hell? But, so yeah, I think the book is very eluding. I think it's one of the bigger foreshadowing pieces we see in any of these earlier episodes to something that you don't see for quite a long time.
And I wonder if it will foreshadow to an actual Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde moment of will Oscar or Ozma end up going through a route of actually not being, a good character.
See, I can just imagine. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think what's going to happen is Oscar is going to, his morals are going to be there, and he's going to be like, I'm not going to do this. Like, I will fight, but I'm not going to kill innocent people or something like that for the greater of the world. Like, I'm not going to kill innocents. And I think Ozma is pretty much going to attack him inside and be like, okay, well then I am taking over completely.
Just biding my time.
Well, why would either of them attack innocents?
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think there's going to be a big battle where innocents could potentially get hurt. And being that Ozma is very powerful, I think potential, like, I could see Ozma simply saying, like, well, we could risk the 50 of these people for the greater of the good, and it can end Salem. I could see him doing it.
Maybe.
And I could see Oscar being like, no, we need to find another way.
I think of it as more of a, if it's ever going to happen, it's going to be all of the relics are going to be gathered. Or about to be gathered.
Yeah.
And Ozma's going to be like, all right, humanity's not ready for this yet. If we do this, if we get judged this way, with as we currently are, humanity will be wiped clean again. I'm not doing this. I'm taking control. I'm taking a relic. I'm getting as far away as I can so that way this cannot happen.
You think that's going to happen?
I don't know. Every time they try and show Ozma as a morally great character, all they do is just show him as just like a more of a pure white knight to me.
I wonder, though, if they really would wipe it clean again.
Yeah, they're gods. Gods are cunts.
True, but it didn't help that Salem was also kind of a cunt.
That's one person compared to however many people were left on the planet.
That's true.
I think gods are cunts is a fair argument. Mike?
I mean, and I can kind of, you can kind of see her perspective. All right, this world is filled with magic, and then there's this one stupid rule, like, hey, like, people have to die, right? And she pretty much was just, like, that was the love of her life. She didn't want him to die. She wanted to live with him forever. So I can kind of see her perspective, but the way that she went about it, she could, like, we could say she could have just accepted it like everyone else, but she didn't. She saw a way out of it. And kind of. She didn't get what she wanted.
So she tried to kill the gods. Look what happened.
No! No! What did you do?
They got Thanos. The world got Clintoned.
Mm-hmm.
At what cost? Is what I asked there.
Yeah. Well, we also get some insight here into RWBY, her character. And she's saying, like, how she wants to be like the fairy tale heroes. Saying that she wants to protect everybody in the world, and yeah. And that's why she's a huntress.
And
I
it
think,
kind of alludes to her character design, though, like Red Riding Hood. Yeah.
is Red Riding Hood a hero?
Well, I'm just saying, like the fairy tales.
Yeah, she defeated the big bad wolf. She's a hero.
Well, so and then when
In
you,
Hoodwink, she beat him, yeah.
but Connor, so she wears her red hood, which I mean, yes, it goes with her character's like kind of whole persona. But then also, and when we see them in their pajamas, she's wearing with a bale wolf on her shirt.
Uh-huh.
Red Riding Hood, bruh.
Uh-huh. I'm talking about specifically her being like a heroic character, her trying to be a hero.
I'm not. I'm talking about fairy tales.
Okay. She is indeed based off of Red Riding Hood. I will agree with that.
There we go. You heard it here
the
first,
big bad
folks.
wolf, though? That's the question.
What was it?
Who's the big bad wolf and who's the hunter?
God, I hope the big bad wolf is her mom. God, I hope that after we said that.
and who's the hunter? I mean,
Crow.
Yang. Oh. I do wonder what's going to happen with him, though. I think they should tear out his jugular.
He's got a new voice actor.
They do?
Does a good job.
you know, you saying that. What if? All right, so what if, like, Crow had to kill her, and that's why Taeyang is mad at him?
That makes sense. These dots connect.
Why he felt responsible for taking care of them. I mean, aside from the fact that I guess he naturally had her.
Do you think Crow's actually his dad, or Ruby's dad?
No.
Or do you think it's an uncle?
I think he's uncle.
I think
have
Crow
this
is
with-
dad.
I used to be on the dad side, but I've got mixed feelings.
Find out. Well, maybe we'll find out.
I'm sure we'll find out.
There's a lot of things that I want answered quickly, and it's just not probably going to happen.
They'll all piece together at the end, or near the end.
Yeah. But back towards her being a hero character, and what I was trying to touch on initially, is that I think that this just kind of early on paints her as she is the genuine do-good, save-the-world character that Ozma is trying to create with this breed, with this school, Ozpin and Ozma.
Sure.
And that's why I think she's the main reason why she was let into the school.
Because of why she wants to be a hunter?
Mm.
That's fair.
And those silver eyes.
I found one, Mr. Piccolo.
Well, I feel like that's also Ozma trying to protect her as well.
I
Could
mean,
be.
I don't think anybody knows about it, though.
Which that would also make sense if Ozma and Ozpin trying to keep a watch over her because she has silver eyes.
Because there's only a few people who truly know the true power of them.
And they get hunted down. Because they've been hired to be hunted down. That's my guess.
Salem's so spooky.
And so finally the episode ends as we get the first full team shot of Team RWBY.
Din, 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 din.
I thought you were going to go din, 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 din.
No.
So episode ratings on this one.
I think when I first watched it, I would say probably a 5. But going back and just seeing kind of some of the illusions, I would increase that to maybe a 6, 6.5.
Okay. Mike.
I just saw it as one of another regular episode, but it did have it kind of added that serious tone to it a little bit. I'll still give it an 8. Look at this one, 8 as well.
And I'll give this one a 7.
Generous. So we're going to do something new in this episode. We want to kind of list who the favorite character from each episode is. So, Mike, who's your favorite from this episode? You said Pyrrha?
Yep.
Connor?
Ozpin.
That's mine too.
It's gonna be hard for there to be an episode where Ozpin and where he's in it, and he's not my favorite, not my favorite character.
Really?
Yeah,
But he's
I
a
love his
douche.
character so much. Oh, he's a hero,
I know. He's
and
actually
I love
pretty
him.
I will be the force that moves you. Now let's go. Let me catapult you off of a cliff.
And that's where we'll go to in the next episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. Bye. A special thank you to our patrons. Your support helps us grow inch by inch, building the foundations for the future of HSG. So thank you. If you'd like to become a patron, be sure to check out the description for a link to our Patreon, where you can get things like stickers, shirts, or even the chance to work with me to create a major character for the RWBY D&D. I know we're already letting you request a character, but, the paid version's cooler. Comes with some extra benefits. And be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't, and ring that bell to be alerted to our videos. Or don't. It's a free internet. You can choose.